Hi there, everyone. Welcome to our Life Science Syndicate. I'm Kat Delgadillo, here to co-host with our CEO, Ha Martin. We'll be giving you a little more information about TEN Capital.
Great. Thanks, Kat. And I want to thank everybody for joining us for another great presentations today from our companies and our investors. With that, let's go ahead and learn more about TEN Capital and what we're all about, and then we'll kick into our presentations. So at heart, what we do at TEN Capital is we connect investors and startups for funding. It's an investor relations approach where we use an event-based process to introduce investors and startups together. These are online, in-person, as well as dinner events and other structured event processes. Next slide. So as part of our program, we help with pitch decks, we help with fundraise strategy, we also help with other campaign coaching sessions that we have. We've been doing this since 2009. We were originally called Texas Entrepreneurs Network, went public, or national, I should say, back in 2016 and changed the name to TEN Capital, and we do this around the country at this point. But in short, we provide the legwork, saving you time and money. Next slide. So we have today the Life Science Syndicate event. It's our monthly event on life science deals. Each company will have 10 minutes to pitch, 5 minutes for Q&A, and a little bit of feedback as well. We also have the virtual quick pitch, a similar format, but it's for tech companies. We run that every month. And then we also have a family office roundtable where we have speakers talk about topics relevant to the family office space. That space is changing dramatically these days with the online remote world, and we're seeing a lot of great things happening there. If you want to learn more about our events, go to tencapital.group and click on the events button, and you can check out other events that we have coming up. Let's go to the next one. If you are raising funding, there's a QR code. Take a picture of that there and fill out the form. And we'll have a follow-up call to see if this is a good fit for you to come join our program. We have lots of fun and we meet lots of investors along the way, and looking forward to seeing if this is going to be a fit. Let's go to the next slide. We also have a chat bot called Ava. We have a podcast program called Investor Connect, in which we've done over 850 interviews with angel VC family offices and others about who they invest and how they invest and what they invest in. And we also write a micro blog post called the Startup Funding Espresso. It's a 300-word blog post that talks about startup funding and investing for both the investor and the startup. We've done over 2,000 of these, and we've actually put them inside a chat bot, so you don't have to search all of them. You just have to ask your question, and the chat bot will give you the answer. Let's hear more about it in this video. Are you looking to transform your investment strategy with new cutting-edge AI? Let me introduce our newest addition to the TEN Capital team, Ava, your personal AI venture assistant.
Hi there. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ava, your personal AI venture assistant. I'm your new best friend in the world of investing in startups, the TEN Capital AI chatbot. I'm here to make your journey through the startup ecosystem easier, faster, and a lot more fun. Need help finding your next big investment? Or maybe you're a founder looking for fundraising tips? I've got you covered. I pull all my knowledge from over 500 blogs, countless podcasts, and even some nifty calculators, like the How Fundable Is Your Startup tool, to give you the answers you need. So how do I work? Easy. You simply go to where I live on startupfundingespresso.com and look for me in the bottom right. As soon as I appear, go ahead and click on me to let me know you're here. And then there you go. All your questions answered at your fingertips. Whether you're into health tech, biotech, life sciences, or any of the other exciting fields out there, I'm equipped to help you navigate the trends, challenges, and opportunities in each one. Got a question? Just ask. And guess what? I even pull insights from the TEN Capital Network podcast on Investor Connect. It's packed with expert advice, success stories, and more, all designed to help you succeed in the venture capital world. So what are you waiting for? Let's chat. I'm here 24/7 to help you find the right answers, connect with great opportunities, and make the most out of your investments. See you on startupfundingespresso.com.
Great. Well, great. With that, let's go ahead and meet our panelists today. We have with us very special guests, Merom Klein and Louise Klein. They're the authors of one of my new favorite books, Courage to Champion, and I find them always motivating and uplifting to talk to them, and it's always great to have these guys on with us. So with that, let's hear from first Louise. Can you tell us more about yourself and your background?
Great. So what I love to do is work with innovators who want to make a difference, that may need some of that business acumen to help them on the way so they get funding, get traction, and get adoption.
Great. And Merom, tell us about yourself and your background.
Yeah, so I've been about 35 years in the field of working with innovators who are driving adoption. And it is not for the faint of heart, which is why we talk about courage. And it's not just the innovator's courage, because you're depending on the courage of other people around you to champion your idea, to go out and tell others why they should adopt, why they should invest, why they should fund. And so your job as an innovator, that's the point of the book, is building courage in the people that you're mobilizing to be your champions and help you get traction in the market.
Great. Thank you for that. So let's bring up our first presenter, Barry Fell of Cranial Devices. Barry, if you could turn on your slides and video and kick off when ready. You'll have 10 minutes to pitch, 5-minute Q&A, and may have a few more minutes for feedback as well. Those in the audience, if you have questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll answer them as we go along. With that, let's go ahead and kick off. Thanks for joining us, Barry.
All right. Thanks, Hal. So Barry Fell here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a solution to a very, very old problem called hydrocephalus. Hydrocephalus is, people know it as water in the brain. Current treatment is to take this long rubber tube, stick it in the middle of your brain, and run it down into your belly. It has a failure rate of 40, 60, 70% in the first year alone. It's a lifetime disease. And if you happen to live a long lifetime with this disease, you're going to have, 10, maybe 30 revisions in your lifetime. So it's an awful problem that needs to be fixed. It's been the same solution for almost 70 years. The cost to the US healthcare system is about $3 billion per year. $1 billion of that is just for the revisions in the first year of getting a shot. What we're doing that's remarkably different is, instead of setting it down into the abdomen or someplace else, we put it, the CSF, which is the fluid, back into the venous system via the sagittal sinus, which runs right along the top of the brain. Our implant is extremely tiny. It's 0.4 millimeters in diameter. It's done in a less than 30-minute procedure. You can access it at any time with a scalp incision. It's done under local anesthesia as well. So it totally revolutionizes how shunt surgeries are going to be done. The market size, so the current market size in the US is about $170 million that is device related. Of that, you have maybe 100,000 patients. And the segment that we are going after first is the revision market. So about $120 million is devoted to the revision side of this equation. Whoever makes the first implant that doesn't fail or fails less than the current rubber tube is immediately going to capture this market. So it's not a hard market to enter as long as you have the device. Our device, HydroFix, is currently following a Class 2 de novo 510K pathway. This is per the FDA and the pre-submission feedback that we've received to date. We've got a very robust IP portfolio. We've already had our first award. It's a worldwide application. We treat everybody from about age 5 onward, all forms of hydrocephalus. You don't need a specialized skill set. Same procedure codes in the US. As I said, 30-minute procedure time. We have one competitor out there that is coming up with or has developed an endovascular approach, which is very slick, very cool. They've raised $124 million to date on it. But if you look at the comparison between the two, we're very, very similar, except right here, we can revise, they can't. So if you have a problem, you can fix ours. If they have a problem, you've got a bigger problem. Where we are right now, we've raised about $2.5 million to date. We have just wrapped up our pilot animal studies. We are going to begin our GLP animal studies here somewhere in the May, June timeframe. And everything is heading towards the OUS pilot start for human study. I think that if we continue on this particular plan, that our first time period for exit will be in the 2026 timeframe. Because of this impact that we will have on that revision market, we have two big players in the industry where we are essentially going to take that business away from them because they sell very expensive valves that are no longer needed for this surgery. Then we have a couple of other entrants into the field that I've already been talking to, and they're just waiting, for these key milestones to be completed. So obviously the GLP animal study is important. That's important to the FDA. But the human pilot study, which should be about, we're expecting it to be 5 humans. We will do that either in Australia or South America. And I think once we're done with that, that's probably the time period that will kick off an acquisition. So again, we have better performance. We know we have better performance than the traditional shunts. It's far safer, faster to implant, locally, local anesthesia, no special instruments, low cost of goods, high product margin. And as I said, it's immediately going to capture 100% of that $120 million existing market. All users benefit. We've got a great team. And let me just throw one more thing in here. There is another market opportunity that's emerging that's called normal pressure hydrocephalus. That worldwide is worth about $6 billion. Anybody over 65, there might be a few of us on the call, we are in that patient population. Potential. Hopefully, we're not going to get into that particular one. But it is, CSF does hit the elderly, gives them signs of gait instability, dementia, and incontinence. When they get shunted, it works. It relieves the symptoms. The problem is in the US in particular is only about 1% of these patients are getting shunted because of the high failure rate of these long rubber tube shunts. So once that's been replaced with a better technology, this market opens up for us. This is also the market that our competitor is going after. So in the US, we have about 700,000 patients already diagnosed with the disease, and it's following the hockey stick curve with all the baby boomers. So that's all I have.
Great. Let's go to our panelists. So Louise, you've already put one question in the chat box, but might you go ahead and just ask and get the answer from Barry directly?
Great. So Barry, how are you going to get this adopted? Because I know that getting it in front of doctors is one thing, but getting it in front of a hospital system or something like CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, is another. So how are you going to get adoption of this?
Of all the devices I've done in my history, this is going to be the easiest one because the outcomes are so dramatically different and the costs are going to be so much lower. Also, it's a same-day surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have these 5, 6, 7 days in the hospital while they adjust your valves. So from a value perspective, I think it's a very easy sell to the hospital systems.
Great, thank you.
Merom, what's your first question?
Yeah, I'm going to follow up on Louise's question. Barry, tell us about the champions that you've already got behind this that give you confidence that with them helping you push this into the market, you're going to get the kind of adoption. Wow, 100% adoption.
That's
holy moly!
claim.
Nobody says
Nobody
that. That is an amazing
right?
Opportunity for investors.
Yeah, well, it's only 20-year-old startup guys usually say 100% of the market. But the problem is that big. And if you look on the right-hand column, we've got some pretty big names over there. In fact, one of them is also a neuroendovascular neurosurgeon. Okay, and all of them, without question, say, as soon as it's available, that's what we're going to do. Because remember that they put in those original VP shunts and they're the ones taking them out. And after about 6 or 7 times, you can't go back there anymore. And they have to put it someplace else. Someplace else means your heart, your lungs, your gallbladder, you name it. But it's a big problem. So they're pretty excited about it.
Great. Louise, what's your second question?
Let's see. So in terms of, sorry, I've got a dog nudging my computer over. So what about acquisition? Where are you looking for that? ROI for investors?
Good point. as you saw, that the cost of goods on our technology is very low. The margins, you know, we're replacing a $5,000 implant with an implant that has no moving parts. So you can get a feel there is what that margin would be.
Mhm.
And then from the investor point of view, you know, I've done this many times before. So it's a very lean operation. You can see my team here on the left. We know what we're doing. We've done it before. And of course, the FDA can always throw some curveballs at you along the way, but it's a straightforward march to market. And as I said, two of the players that are going to be interested currently own 90%, 92% of the existing valve market. So if they want to keep their market share, then one of them is going to have to buy us or the other guys. And then there's some new entrants, especially from the ortho space, that are moving into neuro. They have an interest in getting into this market as well.
Okay.
Merom, a second question from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep with the pattern of following up on Louise's questions. So based on the market intelligence that you have, can you tease us a little bit and tell us what you think the ROI is likely to be, and what you think one of these major players is gonna pay to have the large market share that you're going to deliver to them?
I think if we talk a 2026 exit, I think we're going to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So again, big statement for a startup guy, but I'm not 20 years old anymore. So this is a big market, and it really, really depends. The revision market, we already know that's a $120 million market. Whether I get 80% or 100% or 20%, it's a big market. It's the NPH market that Cerebasc is really developing for us. And we will just be, you know, an alternative to their endovascular approach. I don't claim that we're going to get all of that market, and that market will take some time to develop, but these people who have that disease need to be treated earlier, not later. Later you wait on them, the less is their recovery from the symptoms. So we have a lot of neurosurgeons who can put this device in. The world doesn't have that many interventional people that can put in their device. Again, I think we will be the go-to device.
Great. Well, if anybody in the audience has questions, please put them in the chat box. My first question is, how does this apply to the neurology space?
Neurology gets to treat the patients. The neurosurgeons get to operate them, and they never want to see them again. Unfortunately, when you have a revision after revision, you see them all the time. So neurosurgeons would like these patients to go back and be managed by neurology or even family practice. So though most neurologists don't have the general surgery training or the specific neurosurgery training to do the procedure, it's not challenging procedure. And once we get out of the US, you'll find a lot of less specifically trained surgeons able to do the procedure. But in the US, it will be neurosurgeons.
Great. So what's the next step for your fundraise campaign here? What are we trying to use the funding for?
Funding for is to get us through the OUS study. So we have to complete the GLP lab study, which is not inexpensive, finish our IDE, which is for the US, and then in the meantime, we'll be working on and setting up the OUS study.
What's the target date for FDA approval at this point?
It really depends on whether when we bring the OUS pilot study back to the US, whether that's acceptable or they're going to make us repeat it here in the US. That will be the driving factor on the FDA.
Okay.
So,
great.
I mean, if everything worked well, it would be the end of 2027. If it didn't work quite as well, it would probably be the end of, 26. It would be the end of 27.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Well, we're at the end of our time. I want to thank you for a great presentation. Thank you so much. And thanks for great questions, Merom and Louise. Let's bring up our next presenter, Nathan Monti of Enamel Pure. Nathan, if you can launch your slides and kick off when you're ready.
Hi, everybody. Nathan Monty, Enamel Pure. I'm co-founder and CEO. Enamel Pure is attacking the oral health space by introducing a laser and imaging technology for the hygienist. So we're in the preventive dentistry side. Typical dental offices are broken into two halves. The dentist works on the restorative side and the hygienist works on the preventive side. In 2021, Americans spent out of pocket $22 billion. That breaks down to $16 billion for teeth cleanings, fluorides, and whitenings, and $6 billion for clear aligners. So we're attacking the $16 billion teeth cleaning, whitening, and fluoride market long-term or worldwide. It's in excess of $50 billion. It's a gigantic market. I call it a large niche because we know exactly where to sell everything. And it's an extremely simple clinical procedure, just cleaning teeth, which helps us with our market penetration and ease of training. This is an easy slide. Everybody knows what manual teeth cleaning is. I always point out that the diagnostics done in dentistry is all visual. So right now it's manual. They just look at your teeth and look at your gums. This is our device. There's a laser inside. The laser is used to clean the teeth, also used to harden the teeth, which gets rid of fluoride in the office. And then there's a whitening mouth guard that's popped in at the end of the procedure, and the patient rides home with a mouth guard and throws it away when they get home. There's also a camera attached. The top right-hand corner shows you how that works. On the last mirror, we combine the laser and the camera. So as the hygienist moves the handpiece through the mouth, cleaning the teeth, the camera is imaging the teeth simultaneously. So when you're all done, your teeth are clean, your teeth are hardened, and we have a 3D image of your teeth. The cost of the device is $37K, so it's $750 or $800 a month for a dental office. So what are the advantages? Well, the teeth cleaning, it's twice as fast, not quite twice, because the appointment lengths can't change that much, but basically a 50-minute cleaning appointment will go to 30 minutes. It's quiet, non-contact. We completely remove the plaque, and for the first time ever, dental cleaning procedure kills the bacteria as well. Bacteria leads to gingivitis. The laser purification is 10 times harder than the fluoride. It doesn't include a heavy molecule as well. And then the whitening is more on a convenience basis. You pop the mouth guard in, it has a battery in it, so you drive home and throw it away when you're finished. On the imaging side, the camera side, as the hygienist goes through your mouth with the laser handpiece cleaning your teeth, we take digital color images, both 2D and 3D, and these images are of very high resolution such that we can convert them to a measurement file used for a course of clear aligners. The advantage here of the imaging is we will build the most robust image data set ever. So 180 million people in America have their teeth cleaned every year. If you can get them in the chair to have their teeth cleaned, then you have them in the chair to image them, because both happen simultaneously. From that large data set, you can find, cracked teeth, or where their cavities are, or where there's some decay, white spot lesion. And then over time, longitudinally, you can compare the images so you can assess how the gums are receding, how the enamel is eroding. So it's a long-term AI oral health report every year. And the oral health report will indicate to people, much like a lipid panel, how your teeth are, how your gums are, if you have a problem, and then the associated oral health clinical advice associated with that issue. This is a product timeline. We're finished with the clinical procedures. We've started the camera. So this year, and we'll do the camera. Next year, we do the AI integration with our partners. And then 2027 and 2028, we'll take the same dental medical records and combine them with your medical records to see if we can have a link like excessive tooth decay leads to heart valve problems. So that's our full product rollout over the next 5 years, 4 years now, because we've finished 24 already. So how do we get this product to market? It's always a challenging issue. In dentistry, 3 distributors access 95% of the dental offices. There's 200,000, just over 200,000 dental offices in America, and over 95% of them have a guy or a gal that knocks on their door every month and walks in and is friends. So we've signed 3 distributors: Henry Schein, the largest dental distributor in the world; Benco Dental, which is the 3rd largest dental distributor in America; and Medicine Partners, who's a distributor for the conglomerates, the dental service organizations, the large groups of dental offices like Aspen Dental, Heartland Dental, Pacific Dental. So we're accessing the whole dental market via 3 distribution agreements, and we've signed those agreements. We do the technical support and the technical sales in-house. We don't have people out in the field, as that's done by our distributors. And then we make the product at a contract manufacturer, Product Resources, and they ship directly to the dental office. So again, we have a few manufacturing people who support Product Resources, but we do not have to build out our own manufacturing facility. So there we go. So this is just to show you, we're building a device with a laser and the camera in it. We do the software, we do the regulatory and the IP, but we don't do the equipment sales. We don't do the AI ourselves. That's our partner. We don't do clear aligner manufacturing. We define the clear aligners digitally for the manufacturer, but we use Invisalign or whoever to manufacture the clear aligners from our imaging. So we're strictly a device with a laser and a camera and the regulatory and IP associated with it. This is how the device fits in the dental office. The practice management systems, which you might have seen in your dental office because they show you your teeth on the screen, we just Wi-Fi communicate with that practice management system. The practice management system gives us a number which we attach to our image files, and then they handle the interaction with the dentist, the interaction with the AI. They handle all the HIPAA requirements. So we're simply have the device, we put it in the office next to the patient's chair, and then everything is done digitally through the practice management system. It's done that way because we don't want to have to redefine the whole flow in the office. By integrating easily from an appointment standpoint and from a technology interface standpoint with the dentist, we make it simple and easy for market adoption. Product Resources makes the product. They're FDA inspected, and then we have no direct competition, only the existing mechanical tools, and we have over 23 patents filed, 6 more in work, and we have 5 of those 23 patents are issued. How do we make money? We make money by charging for the system. We then make money by charging $2 for cleaning. There's 160 million a year in America. $5 for a purification. That's the marketing name for the hardening of the teeth. And then we sell our whitening mouth guard. We also, after the imaging is introduced, we will charge for our images that can be AI processed to create the annual oral health report. And we also sell our measurement files to the clear aligner people. So I'm Nathan Monty. Thank you very much for listening today. I started a company called Light Laser. We sold that to Danaher Corporation. It was actually Videojet Technologies in Chicago. I then started a company called Convergent Dental, which does a dental laser for drilling cavities. They're over in Waltham, Mass. They're at 25 million in sales, and we hope to exit that in the next couple of years. And then I started Enamel Pure with my business partner, Charles Dresser. He's a patent lawyer, and he's also an expert in laser and imaging in the med device space. This is a patent slide. I'll let you look at it if you wish. So just to give you the timeline as I wrap up, in March of the last year, March of 24, we got our FDA clearance. We then went out to quote for the contract manufacturing. We established the international supply chain network. We're building units now. Our first patient was last Friday, and we hope to have product sales in the April-May timeframe of this year. And so I'm doing a raise. The super seed, I did a seed. Delta Dental, the largest dental insurance company in America, was the lead. We've moved on to a super seed, which is 1.5 million. It's 8 million pre. We've got 150K left. And then when sales start sometime between April and June, we'll switch over to a Series A and raise 8 million at a 32 million pre. So that's my presentation. Thank you for listening. Any questions you have, fire away.
Great. Thanks, Nathan. Merom, why don't you kick us off with your first question?
Yeah, wow, that's impressive that you brought Delta Dental in as an investor. They clearly saw some opportunity to change the practice of dentistry with your equipment. What are the key things that got them excited about how you're going to change the standard of care for us going to the dentist twice a year?
Yeah, so Delta Dental looks at it more from a clinical standpoint. So different aspects of dentistry. So the dentist or the dental service organization is a little bit in conflict because they're very concerned about the clinical side, but they still have to pay the payroll, right? So Dental looks at it strictly from the clinical side. They see a procedure that's cleans better, kills all the bacteria, and they also looked into the hardening of the enamel, looked into the research and the proof of that, and that excites them because they love to do prevention to help people avoid illness, right? On the dental or the decision-making side, we're twice as fast as an existing cleaning, and we also the scannings included the same time frame, so it leads to a lot more billing. So does that answer your
So
question?
Nathan, let me see if I've got this right. That
Sure.
from a dentist point of view, you're saving chair time, which allows them to see more patients and increase their revenue. From a payer point of view, like Delta Dental, you're doing a better job of cleaning and prevention, so they're going to see fewer interventions that are going to cause major claims for them. Wow, it sounds like you got a winner, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you very much. I think we do. This is the best one I've done. Having said that, we are competing against 50-year-old technology and in the hygiene space. So it's challenging, but not that challenging when you're competing against 50-year-old technology.
Great.
Hey, Louise, what's your questions?
Nathan, could you go back one slide, first of all? Great. So just as a little piece of advice, you always want to end with a summary slide, something like this, so that while you're doing Q&A, we can look at the good points that remind us why should we get involved in this. So my question is, have you considered or talked to anyone about getting this into dental schools so that the next generation of dentists, this just becomes what they know?
Yes, that's just that delays the market adoption because you have to get it into the schools and then the dentists have to use it. Then the dentist students have to graduate and then they don't have a whole lot of say in the clinic when they first start. So initially we're targeting to go right directly into all the mom and pops by using Henry Schein and Benco Dental, as well as the conglomerates using Medicine Partners. So we're building key opinion leader. Sorry, stumbling here. KOL units right now, and we'll be shipping them out this month. And so we're very aggressively targeting the existing markets because we're hoping to see a huge ramp up in orders.
Great, thank you.
My first question, Nathan, is what's your gross margin on this product?
Oh, so for the equipment, we have a 50% gross margin. For the recurring revenue for the clinical procedures, the hardening and the teeth cleaning, of course, it's 100%. It's just software. And then for the mouth guard, you're at 60 to 70%, about 2/3 margin. And then of course for the imaging and for the clear aligner definition, again, you're at 100% because it's just data, just software.
My last question is, how much training does it take to get a dentist up to speed on these technologies?
Oh, so that's a great question. So we made it a very simple device. If you saw the picture of it, I'm going to flash the screen for you. If you look at the very front, you can see there's a white, a little tough to see, but there's 4 buttons. You press the green one to turn it on, then you press the white one to activate the cleaning procedure, and then you press on the foot pedal in order whenever you want the laser to come out. Other than that, you just hover the handpiece about a 1/4 inch off the tooth, and the laser pattern and the control take care of the rest of it for you. So it's extremely easy to use. We even custom design a crate for to roll into the dental office, and they unpackage and plug it in themselves.
That's great. We're at the end of our time. Thanks so much, Nathan. Oh, Merom, you have a question?
Yeah,
What
I
is your
just have a
question?
quick one too.
Yeah, I had another question. Is Nathan, tell us a little bit about the exit, and maybe for people who haven't invested in dentistry, why this is a great opportunity and a great space to look at in terms of the exit potential.
Oh, thank you, Merom. That's a great question. So dentistry is very large, and it's a cash basis, right? So you when you go, you pay, right? So there's a lot of cash in dentistry. So almost all of the acquisitions are done by M&A. I say almost all, there's not a lot of them. So there's not a tremendous amount of technology in dentistry right now. We're the hot new device coming into dentistry. So we would sell to someone like Henry Schein or to Dentsply Sirona or to Ivoclar Vivident, because they're waiting to see. I've already talked with them all. I mean, I know the space, and they're just waiting to see the market introduction and uptake to see if how it would happen. We would also wait until the camera's introduced and the AI is taking off. So I think we're looking at about 3 years, and there's tremendous upside to a $16 billion market. We have no competition, 23 patents. So
Thank you. That's great. I was wanting to ask the same thing, so I'm done too.
Okay. Well, great. Thanks. Thank you guys for great questions. Nathan, very great presentation. Let's move to our third presenter, Andrew Dahl of BioMEMS. Andrew, go ahead and launch your slides and kick off when you're ready. You see him, you're good to go.
Okay, great. Thanks everyone for joining us. Well, the diagnostics industry is moving ever closer to the patient. It's boosting demand for ever more sophisticated tests in the field. BioMEMS pulls high-need, high-complexity testing out of the lab to address unmet needs at point of care, point of need, at home. But unfortunately, the current state of the art is either an expensive toaster size analyzer that still needs a trained tech, results from half an hour to half a day, or you get very limited information from things like urine dipsticks, yes or no answers from devices like a pregnancy or COVID test, aka lateral flows. And then what do you do with analog results generated at home or in the field? So BioMEMS is an end-to-end technology that captures raw patient sample, processes, delivers laboratory quality results, ported to our smart app in 5 minutes or less, pretty much anywhere. That single-use test cartridge holds up to 10 different diagnostic tests, more than any other at point of need or at home. We can adapt hundreds of commercially available, already FDA-approved immunoassays to our platform to conduct tests that previously could only have been done in a clinical lab. So if you can operate a smartphone, you can administer this test pretty much anywhere. This is breakthrough technology. There is no other test platform that can perform at this level outside a clinical lab. And when I say performance, less than 1 part per trillion for proteins in urine. So we're basically the hardware and software that can make slow, expensive lab tests work outside faster and smarter outside the lab where they're needed most. And we not only provide the test results to the user, but simultaneously transmit to providers and payers. So one of our key differentiators is also the quality and timeliness of first-party test data. And this is due to the precision and accuracy of the biosensor at the core of our system. So, and that's really kind of the weakness of a lot of these digital diagnostics and digital healthcare concepts. It's the quality and timeliness of the data itself, and then it's how that data is packaged and managed at the user level, the payer level, and ultimately how it's monetized. Now, we approach the diagnostics market opportunistically. We develop tests in partnership with global brands. So as a platform, we're not really tied to any single disease or condition. Initially, we're developing healthy aging, infectious disease, nutritional deficiency, because there's non-dilutive funding available from the government, and there's corporate partners that want to enter these verticals. And we're taking small slices of some really big verticals. Now, to validate our traction with global brands, we've just inked a deal to develop a first-in-market canine Alzheimer's test for Hill's Science Diet, which is a Colgate-Palmolive subsidiary. This is real revenue, begins with a sponsored feasibility study. That's followed by about a $2+ million product development phase, and then a manufacturing contract with pre-negotiated margins and sales volumes. Now, lest you think a doggy Alzheimer's test is an interesting sidebar or possibly even a dead end, the anonymized data that we collect takes on greater significance when you apply it to humans. Why? The gene signaling and disease pathways for Alzheimer's in dogs and humans is nearly identical, and so are the diagnostics. So we're getting paid to develop the test, then we generate revenue selling the test, and all the while we're banking that data, which we remap, resubmit to the FDA to accelerate approvals or waivers for the first ever non-invasive human Alzheimer's test. And that's without having to change anything in the test kit itself. Now, we can enter the canine test market, the actual market, without FDA approval. So as soon as we're done developing the kit, we can go to market with Hills. Now, whatever number you think we can negotiate with Hills for contract manufacturing, you can probably put another 3 zeros behind that for a human Alzheimer's test. Now, once that first test is on its way, we start adding new test products to establish multiple revenue streams. So our gross margins on any individual test range from 50% to 500%, depending on the selected diagnostic targets and what the end reimbursables might be. And sell prices will range from $10 to $140 per test cartridge. Now, the sales projections that we're showing aren't market adoption guesses, but rather they're estimates of contract sales negotiated with corporate partners in advance. So they're doing the commercialization. So things like reimbursement, CPT code, launch expenses, our customers handle that part of the commercialization. Now, our go-to-market strategy is, quite frankly, it's our business model. We target global brands that make, market, or offer diagnostics as a service. We initially approach them to do studies, collaborations, co-ventures. That drives early revenue for us, but it also allows them to test drive our technology with very little risk, gives them an opportunity to consider a new product program and possibly a potential acquisition. And our stated goal is to be acquired. There's no need to build a huge organization to commercialize this platform or manufacture it. Those organizations already exist. You just saw their logos. But an acquirer needs to know 2 things. Does it work? And can you produce a whole bunch of it at low cost? Then comes the actual specific value proposition. And in our case, it's the ability to use existing FDA-approved diagnostics already performed in a lab that we convert for point of need or at-home use. And in so doing, we just crush the cost of development, compliance, and manufacturing because there are no de novo tests. Nothing new is really being developed. We're just bringing it into a new and more convenient format. And by doing that, we outperform anything that's available at point of need or at home. Now, we're working to close $2 million in seed funding to engineer and build what we call demonstrators that are configured for our prospective corporate partners. So this $2 million seed round and the expected revenues from projects like the canine Alzheimer's test and a healthy aging test will provide us with enough runway to pursue and close a few more contracts with corporate customers. That's followed by a $2 million late seed to get pilot manufacturing going. In other words, we're now answering the question of validating that we can manufacture this at scale. So, and then when we get to Series A, we don't start on that until we have one huge private label order in hand, because our valuation goes up, we can get better financing. Now, at that point, we start modeling exit windows. The first such window could be once we've demonstrated the platform end to end, and we have all of our little, plastic parts and pieces already configured for one of our target corporates. And we do this before we go out for a Series A, and this now becomes more of a risk return model. In other words, we can get out in less than 24 months with a good return, or we can get one OTC product to market in 30 months and look at some very significant returns with decreasing risk over time. Now, we have, the comps, models, case studies, market data support the returns we're projecting. A good example, Quest paid $450 million to acquire Haystack just 23 months after its $10 million seed round funded by Catalio. I didn't get my check in there in time. That's a great return. And it's happening because there are so few totally new technologies coming to market, very, very few at point of need or at home, that really break any new ground. Now, to get this moving, we're looking to close a $2 million seed round, Q1 2025, fund the end-to-end demo units. In other words, I want to grab all the plastic I can take into a boardroom and ask the chairman to do the test right there in front of him, and his results show up on his smartphone. The founders already placed $3 million in pre-seed funding. We're able to produce our biosensors. This is the important part. We can do these at 1,000 units at a time right now. So the use of proceeds primarily focused on getting the plastic done and running some in quantity within 12 to 14 months. We use that to close more co-venture and collaboration projects. And then that brings us to the $2 million late seed or bridge to demonstrate the manufacturability side of the equation. I just lost picture. Hello?
Well, we see data room and offering documents available upon request. Is there a slide before that?
Okay, good. I'm sorry, something happened here. I just lost picture. Anyway, I'm flying blind.
There's the team right there.
Yeah, so development team made this possible. Chief Science Officer, Dr. Michael Puja. He's considered one of the world's top 10 diagnostics innovator, decades at Siemens and Bayer. His protege, Dr. Zane Baird, he directs our development lab in Colorado. Jake Capella, lead engineer, multiple degrees in physics engineering, resident whiz kid, developed all the hardware and software. Yours truly. I've been in executive and consulting roles in biotech, medtech since 2003. Trevor Mason, not pictured here, has just joined as CFO. And that's pretty much the end of our story.
Right. Great presentation. Thanks, Andrew. And with that, Louise, what's your first question?
So Andrew, also, if you go back a slide, just so I can see what you had up there. Thanks. Okay, great. Okay. So who else do you need on your team?
I need a CEO. a
Okay.
better looking, younger version of me, so that I can do what a founder and executive chairman's supposed to do, which is the high level business development. Number one. Number two would be a full-time CFO, so that I don't have to do it. But no, we do need to build out a team. Mike would like to retire and stay on as emeritus, grand poobah type of thing, but not be operationally. Zane is a very ambitious, very gifted young man who would like to step into that role.
Okay.
We do need to hire a PhD level electrochemist immediately to take some of the load off Zane and Jake. So there's some team building that still needs to happen.
Great. Thank you for that.
Merom, what's your question?
Well, first of all, as I want to say, that's a great answer to that question. So investors can see where their money is going to be deployed to really drive adoption and drive value and make that happen. So that's great to see. My question is, when some of the brands that you had on slide 10, some of those, maybe if you want to go back to that hall and show that, because that was a really wow list. When any of these, BioRed, Thermo Fisher, Roche, Baxter, Stryker, when they do a test with your product, what are they going to be looking for in terms of sales and adoption that's going to make them go, wow, we got to jump in and acquire this before somebody else gets a hold of it?
Yeah, good question. The idea is hopefully one of these guys acquires us and overpays. So as an example, I've already met with in person, in private with the CEO of Siemens. They have a very narrow need. In other words, they're looking at us strictly as a triage tool to justify the use of their MRI machines, if that makes sense. So that's their only interest in us. And I said, okay, so don't buy us because you're not going to want to pay enough. Just give us a collaboration project. Now, if you know anything about what's been happening at Siemens, they've been having some of their own little issues. So they were waiting for performance data from us. We sent them the performance data about 3 months ago. They don't move very quickly, so we'll see what happens. Hills jumped in after dancing around with us for about 6 months. Procter & Gamble's had us revise our proposal 4 times, no surprise there. They have had difficulty integrating the former Merck a personal healthcare division that they acquired that's based in Geneva. Geneva is driving the tests that they want to be able to market through their Nature's Choice and their Lamber's health products. So they're looking to us. Initially, they looked at us for a primary anemia differential diagnostic product, which I thought was just the coolest thing. But then they couldn't find a champion internally, so they ended up with the ex-Merck people in Geneva saying, well, they want a healthy aging test. But their idea of healthy aging and our idea of healthy aging and the P&G scientists in Cincinnati's idea, we're still going around. Now, Roche, just as an interesting sidebar, had given our chief science officer grant money to do fertility testing on the sensor. And then we acquired his company, integrated it into ours because we wanted his biosensor. BD, I spoke with the CEO, they're saying, show us some high volume clinical data. Well, we're not going to do high volume clinical data. We're just going to do a demonstration. some of these others we've talked to off and on. Quest, I've already met with the chief science officer and the chief medical officer. Boehringer, we pitched them on a because we can put almost any assay on here that you can think of. We approach them with, we can do custom diagnostics for you to support your clinical trials. And I think I've struck a nerve there, because that's now going to be my new kind of, I'm going to go hit everybody I know in pharma and say, if you want a at home for compliance, for adherence, adverse event reporting, efficacy, dosing, and it's being instantly uploaded to the clinical site manager within a few seconds of the test being performed at home. Not only that, but we could make the app be really obnoxious and ask people to did you take your medications, and wake them up every morning and all that. So that would be yet another place to go. But we're generally kind of trying to sweep through this. Bayer and DSM sponsored a feasibility study with us together. Most people don't know that Bayer owns 40% of DSM, but they were interested in using a custom test to prove that their consumer-facing products are better than the competition's. So that was part of their Alphaville Global Anti-Aging Initiative. But
Andrew,
COVID stopped it.
Yeah, I'm going to cut in here because I have another quick question and I don't want to get flagged by Hall for
Sure.
running out of time. So, you talk scale up. What's your first target market and how are you going to scale up devices so you've got enough to attract people?
Well, so as part of the raise, the second half, the second million, is we want to build a pilot plant. We've already got it designed out. We've already got all the engineering done. It's a function of funding, and our design throughput is 1.8 million tests a year, from sensor functionalization to in a foil wrap with a desiccant in a box.
Okay.
Great.
So that's all designed out, as is all the costing for that.
So we're at the end of our time. Great presentation, Andrew. Great
Thank
questions
you.
from Louise and Merom. Appreciate you guys joining us today. Before we go to breakout rooms, we just had two things. One is we're going to put a survey in the chat box. If everybody could just give us a few comments there. Love to get your feedback on what we can do to improve and who else we should invite to join us on these in the future. It's there in the chat box now. Just click the Survey Monkey and it's just a few questions to ask. And lastly, I want to talk about a new term sheet we're coming out with called the 3X and 3. It's an early redemption term sheet. Talked to some of the people already and found there's some interest in this on both the investor and the startup side. And essentially, it's a convertible note that at year 3 gives the investor, at their sole discretion, 3X their investment, and it moves to a revenue share agreement, so they're on the way out of the door with their exit over a period of time. Usually it takes two years or more to do that. Or you can go on the cap table with the initial investment. If you'd like to learn more about 3X and 3, I'll be in the breakout rooms and glad to tell you more about that, and love to have you guys come in and talk about how it might work for you. With that, let's go ahead and set up the breakout rooms and move into them. Does anybody have any questions before we jump into it? If not, I'll see you guys in the breakout rooms and looking forward to catching up with you. Great presentations, guys, all around, and looking forward to next steps here with you. Thanks so much for joining us today.